right, you guys. Today we're going to be talking about comparative and superlative adjectives. You may wonder, I know what an adjective is, but what are comparative and superlative adjectives? It'd be really cool if this would actually present it. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm hoping you're getting this just like this. Please let this work. All right. So I made you this really cool little PowerPoint so we could talk about it. And so you know what adjectives are. Adjectives are words that describe a noun or a pronoun, like the lazy dog went to bed. What is the dog? The dog is lazy. I could have said the brown dog, the big dog, the small dog. It's any word you use to describe a noun or a pronoun. But there are types of adjectives? What? There's not just adjectives, there's types of adjectives? You bet. There are comparative and superlative adjectives. Now, when we compare things, like two things, we call them comparative adjectives. And when we are comparing more than two things, like a whole bunch of them, then we call them superlative adjectives. And I think of it kind of easily by saying comparative is literally you're comparing two things. Superlative is like it's the super thing. It's the thing that is the most. I think of it like that. If it's super, it's the most because you're looking at a bunch of them and it is the thing that is the most. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so as I said, comparative adjectives are when we compare two things. So we add ER to a short adjective, usually like a one syllable, like happy. And we add more, the word more, to longer adjectives. Here's an example. It is hotter today than yesterday. So we're comparing two things, today and yesterday. Today and yesterday, two things. So it's hotter today than yesterday. You might say this book was shorter than that book. Or if it's a long word, then you would say, our vacation this year was more amazing than last year. Because you don't want to say, our vacation this year was amazinger. It was way, way more amazinger. You don't say both. You don't say more amazinger. But believe it or not, I know you guys hear kids that say that a lot. And as you're growing, it's easier to say that. And you think that because we usually add ER to things. So, but you need to add the word more if the word is long. So, what do you need to remember? You add ER to short words and you just put the word more on words that sound long, words that are long. And you can kind of feel what's right to you, right? If it's a long word, just say more. Wow, that is more amazing than that, right? That book was more amazing than that book. All right. Oh, no examples. Oh, here we go. So for adjectives, you have the words, let's say deep, fat, bad, it's good, it's hideous, it's powerful, it's mighty. So now how would we change those? So when I think of the word deep, right? So if I say that pond is deep, but we're going to compare it to another pond. So you would say this pond is deep, but that pond over there is deeper. That little puppy is fat, but the puppy next to it is fatter because it's a short word. Now, bad and good, those are different. Bad and good are irregular. So we don't say, oh, well, that little puppy is bad, but the puppy next to him is badder. He's way badder, right? You guys, but often have you heard that? Yeah. But we don't say bad and badder. This one changes. So we would say the puppy is bad, and then you would say, oh, that puppy is worse, right? So that puppy behaves bad, this puppy behaves worse. Good is the same thing. We don't say good and gooder. So we would say, that puppy is good, but that puppy is better. You would say, this book is good, but that book is better. Right? Now, what about hideous? Hideous is kind of a long word, right? I would say, oh, when I woke up this morning, I just felt hideous. But yesterday, I felt even hideouser, even more hideous. Because you can tell when I count them, hideous, that has 3 syllables. That's a long word. Okay, so it needs the word more. Power, do it in front of you, powerful, 3 syllables. So I'm guessing I have to be more powerful instead of powerfuler. And let's see, the last one, mighty. Do I have to say more mighty? Well, with this one, I think you could do it either way you want it. I could say, today I feel mighty, but yesterday I felt more mighty. Or you could say, yesterday I felt mightier. That happens to be one you could choose. Superlative adjectives. These are the ones I think of that are the most in the world. When I think of superlative, there's a really fun book called Things That Are the Most in the World. It's really fun because I'm stuck here at home. I don't have it for you, but I have it in class. And it says we use superlative adjectives when we compare 3 or more things. You add est to a short adjective or most to long adjectives. So, for example, tomorrow is predicted to be the hottest day of the week. Well, I think of it as just the most hot, like the hottest. And they say you're comparing more than 3 things because you're comparing it to all the days of the week. Okay? And ants are the most amazing insects on earth, right? You're comparing them to all of the insects. And you're saying that they are the most amazing. There's nobody else more amazing than them. Okay? But with amazing, we can't say they are the amazingest because it just doesn't sound right. Amazing is too long of a word. So we say most amazing. So when we're talking about superlative adjectives, really it is you're saying that they are the most of that thing, right? Like the most. And good and bad, again, are ones that are irregular, right? So you would say good, better, best. And here we go. So examples that change that. So here they are again: deep, fat, good, bad, hideous, powerful, mighty. And I put them on here for you, and I changed the good and bad to remind you that they're not regular. They don't follow the rules. So you have deep becomes deepest, right? That water is deep, but that water over there is the deepest of them all. Right? That little puppy might be fat, but that puppy over there is the fattest of them all, or the fattest in the world. You're comparing to all the puppies, right? This story was really bad, but if you had read that other story last week, it was the worst. We wouldn't say the baddest, right? But some people say, you hear them all the time say, that was the baddest thing I ever did. It was the baddest. The baddest is not a word. Okay, it's not a word. So you say, but that was the worst thing I ever did. Okay. This book was good, but this book was the best I ever read. So here you're not just comparing 2 things. You're comparing that to all of the things. Hideous and most hideous, right? Today I feel hideous, but yesterday was the most hideous I felt in my whole life. All right, powerful. I'm powerful, but Superman is the most powerful of all. And I might feel mighty today, but I'm going to say that Mighty Mouse is the mightiest of all. Okay, so these are the things that are like the most. That is superlative. And are some irregular? Yes, just like we noted, words like good and bad change form completely. And a lot of your practice pages this week are going to have you practice with good and bad because they want to make sure you catch those irregulars. They want to make sure that you stop saying things like gooder and goodest and badder and baddest. They want to make sure that you know good, better, best. They'll put you to the test. And they want to make sure that you know that you can go from bad to worse to the worst. Okay, and so if you can't remember, you need to come right back to this slide. Okay, look at the sentence. Determine if you're comparing two things. If two things are being compared, then you are doing a comparative adjective. If three or more things, if we're talking about the most, then you need to do a superlative. So let's do a few. Okay, that was the, would we say scary movie, scariest, or scarier? That was the blank scary movie I have ever seen. Are we comparing two movies? No. So this is that was the scariest movie. This is superlative, most scary. One monster had a big body than the other one. Than, see the word than? That's telling me I'm comparing two things, right? So one monster than the other monster. So we're going to say one monster had a bigger body than the other one. However, the small monster of the two, so now of the two, so the smaller monster of the two had sharper claws and fangs. What is the blank exciting book you have ever read? We're not looking at two things. We're looking for the most exciting. I'm going to go with most exciting because I'm not going to say excitingest. Exciting is too long of a word. So here we would have to squeeze in most exciting, both words. I think 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is a good book, better book, best book, is a best book than the Journey to the Center of the Earth. So I see two names of two books and the word than, feels like I'm comparing. So we're going to say good, better, better. I think that this book is a better book than this one. Jules Verne was one of our early and blank science fiction writers. So one of our earliest, one of them. He was one of. So that must mean one of a whole lot, one of many, one of a bunch. So I'm going to say one of our earliest, like one of our most early and our most good. And how do we say most in good? Good, better, best. Okay. So I'm going to say one of our earliest and best science fiction writers. Okay, because they're just talking about him being better than all the rest, being the best of all of that. Okay, so this is your little page. I went over it with you. You will have this and you can fill this in. This is your last page, and your directions today will be to fill those in yourself. I said them for you, but you have to fill them in. Okay, all right. Happy comparative superlatives.